On the 20th day of my ongoing standoff with Noah, he dropped an Instapic, showing him holding hands with the campus hottie. Quietly, I switched my college plans to a school in Metroville, miles away. At a party, one of his buddies teased me, saying, "Regina, if you don't patch things up with him soon, Noah might totally end up with someone else." I whispered, "I'm sorry." Noah twisted his mouth. "Forget it. Pack your stuff. We're heading to school together tomorrow." I nodded without really listening. Little did he know, I'd already snagged a ticket for the overnight bus to Metroville. I'm Noah's housekeeper's daughter. When I was 7, I moved into the cramped first-floor room of their place. My role was to handle his every need. For a decade, taking care of Noah became second nature to me. I was always obedient and polite, getting plenty of praise from his mom. But Noah? He couldn't stand me. The first time we met, he was on the stairs in a crisp white shirt and tailored shorts, looking as perfect as a porcelain doll. I, on the other hand, was rocking a tattered gray dress with holes, staring blankly around. His contempt was clear as day. His mom introduced me. "This is Regina, Mandy's daughter. Her dad went missing, and Mandy brought her here." Noah didn't say a word, just headed upstairs. His mom explained my job was to look after him. My mom reminded me that our family was unique and that staying here wasn't easy. Talk less, do more, and never make Noah mad. Knowing he disliked me, I tried to stay out of his way. Quietly, I organized his clothes and kept his room neat. For the first 3 months, Noah didn't utter a single word to me. That year, he got sick. His mom was in a foul mood and went abroad for vacation. The family doctor gave him meds, but his cough lingered all night. I remembered my grandma making pear stew with Sichuan peppercorns when I was sick. When I offered Noah the bowl, he gave me a nasty look. "Regina, you trying to poison me with some random recipe?" I timidly replied, "It's not poison. Pears help with coughing." Noah looked irritated. "If it doesn't work, you're out. Leave my house." I stood there, frozen. Noah was skeptical, but drank it anyway. The next morning, his cough eased up. Before school enrollment, my mom found a boarding school for me. Though it was pretty far, and I could only visit on weekends, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Being away meant my mom wouldn't feel awkward working at her boss's house, and I wouldn't have to deal with Noah's mood swings. As I packed up and waited for the bus, my mom rushed over, out of breath. "Madame wants you to attend the same school as Noah. Take care of him there." I mumbled under my breath, "Can I not go?" Mom grabbed my shoulders. "Are you out of your mind? Noah's school is top-notch. Everyone wants in." I looked down and stayed silent. From then on, I became Noah's shadow. I followed him from elementary to middle school, carrying his books, grabbing his lunch, even helping with his homework. Everyone knew I was his tag-along. In middle school, Noah made tons of friends. I remained the distant follower, always trailing the group, watching his moods, anticipating his needs. His friends teased that I was his #1 fan. If Noah says go north, I wouldn't dare go south. But his hatred for me stayed the same. In 9th grade, he messed up a jacket he loved while hanging with friends. He woke me up in the dead of night to hand wash it. Only in a camisole nightdress, I turned bright red. "With a look like that, no one would even notice," he scoffed. That planted a seed of teenage insecurity in me. High school came with intense study pressure. I buried myself in books. Then Noah, on a whim, wanted me to cook for him. Every night I made his meals and woke up early to bring them to school. One lunchtime, as I handed him his reheated meal, one of his friends joked, "You've got it good, Noah. A little wifey making you lunch daily." Noah's face went icy. He tossed the lunchbox to a classmate without a second thought. I stayed silent, washed the empty box quietly after they were done, and went back to studying. That year, my body started changing. I hated running in gym class but couldn't skip it. Unlike Noah, who dominated the basketball court, I was stuck running laps, getting whistled at by boys. I slowed down. One day, Hardy from the next class came over and handed me his jacket. It caused a scene. I'd seen Hardy at the opening ceremony. His family ran a big business, and he was the picture of sophistication, killing it both in looks and grades. "Put this on, you've still got a long run ahead." After a moment's hesitation, I accepted. Later, rumors spread that I shamelessly hooked up with Hardy by wearing his jacket. Noah, sitting in the back row, kicked his desk loudly. The room went quiet. That evening, Noah didn't wait for me to leave. "You're getting so capable now. Let Hardy take you home." I sighed and grabbed some change to catch the bus. Unexpectedly, Hardy was there, chillin' with his music. He waved at me. I sat next to him, whispering an apology for the drama from the rumors. Hardy smiled kindly. "Don't sweat the gossip. Just focus on your studies." Graduation was approaching. "Have you decided which college to apply to?" Hardy had a smooth, elegant face, totally different from Noah's sharp, commanding look. I was stunned. Where did I even want to go? I hadn't thought about it. I just knew I needed to keep my grades up. Without money for tutoring, my mom borrowed Noah's notes for me. I had to admit, he was smarter, catching on to things fast while I needed multiple tries. His notes were clutch. Mom suggested I follow Noah's lead for college. With his connections and resources, his choices were spot on. But I had no clue where Noah was aiming for. Hardy smiled softly. "Think about where you really want to go." That night, I browsed university options online. For the first time, I realized I could leave this place and find where I truly fit in. When Noah came home past midnight, his hands were blood-stained. He glanced at me without a hint of concern before heading upstairs. I hesitated, asking softly, "Do you need some first aid?" He didn't reply, just went into his room. I kept researching schools. For the first time, I felt clear-headed. I could leave and carve my own path. Later, I nervously asked my mom, "Have you ever thought about leaving here?" She seemed unsure. After divorcing my dad, she'd been working for Noah's family ever since. Despite Noah's attitude, his mom was pretty nice. Over the years, I never saw Noah's dad around the villa. From bits and pieces, I heard he was busy running a massive company. His parents' marriage was purely business, and his dad had a mistress soon after Noah was born. His mom kept busy with work and travel, leaving my mom to manage the house. My mom planned to work there until I graduated, then use her savings to start a small biz. Quietly, I asked if she'd consider leaving after high school. She gently touched my head, saying nothing. After the uniform incident, Noah started finding ways to annoy me every night. Sometimes he'd ask me to grab him water or tidy his desk. Other times, he'd have me change his bed sheets or wash his clothes. At least I wasn't sharing a room with Mom anymore, which saved her from worrying. Noah wouldn't sleep until I finished all his tasks, and until then, I couldn't rest either. I had to stay busy, always in his sight. Sometimes exhaustion hit, and I'd nod off, only to wake up on the couch in Noah's room. By the time I woke, he was already gone. I started taking the bus instead of his rides. It took longer, but I felt a bit of relief. I dreamed of cutting ties with Noah completely. Maybe he'd stop bugging me. But I knew that wasn't realistic. To keep my mind off things, I threw myself into studying and stopped trying to please him. A week later, Noah had a basketball game. I used to prep drinks and fresh clothes for him before his matches. But this time, I stayed in class to study. Then Mom called, saying Noah had been moody lately. His mom, Mrs. Zhao, wanted me to take better care of him, and even sent desserts to the court for me to bring over. I reluctantly went to the court with the dessert box. Sitting by the sidelines, a few classmates started giggling and whispering. "I told you she can't resist. The second Erin ignores her, she freaks out." Yeah, pretending for a few days, but she couldn't hold out. I ignored their comments. On the court, Erin jumped for a shot, the crowd cheering loudly. He glanced at me briefly, then signaled for me to hand out the desserts. I started with everyone else and finally approached Noah with the last piece. He leaned back on his hands, giving me a mocking look. Standing in the sunlight, I held out the dessert to him, enduring the snickers around me. In a small voice, I said, "This is for you." Noah didn't look at me, his tone casual. "Bring it closer." My hands hurt, stinging a bit. I unwrapped the dessert and handed it over. Noah took a few bites, ignoring the teasing whistles from his friends, just giving a nonchalant smirk. I couldn't figure out what he was up to until I saw Hardy sitting across the court. Was Noah trying to compete with Hardy? Both came from wealthy families, aced academics, and were super attractive. Comparisons were inevitable. It was weird to see Noah, who usually didn't care about others, paying attention to Hardy. But I didn't dwell on it. If Noah was in a good mood, he'd leave me alone. And I could finally rest. As college applications approached, Noah turned 18 and threw a birthday bash with his friends. The party was lit, everyone vibing until Noah stepped away to take a call. He came back furious, smashing several liquor bottles. The room went silent, no one dared to breathe too loudly. A friend tried to comfort him but got yelled at, so everyone quickly left. I was on edge, trying to sneak out unnoticed, but just as I reached the door, Noah's cold voice stopped me. "Regina, come over here." I froze, startled, and reluctantly walked toward him. Noah smirked. "What, scared? Do I bite?" I shook my head quickly. "Where's my gift? You came to my birthday empty-handed." I did bring one, but when I saw everyone else's fancy gifts, I didn't want to pull it out. Nervously, I pulled out a pen I'd bought for $60. Nothing like the designer stuff his other friends gave. Noah scoffed. "Impressive. Socks 2 years ago, shoes last year. Thought you'd bring underwear this time, but instead, you gave me this?" Embarrassed, my face turned red. I'd carefully planned his gifts. Socks the first year, gloves the next. But after he mocked the socks, I saved up to buy shoes the following year. This year, I was saving for college tuition and could only afford a pen, one with a decorative flower added by the shop owner. "I'm sorry," I murmured. "I didn't mean to upset you." Noah sneered, acting like this was the only thing that annoyed him. Then he crooked his finger. "Come here." I hesitated, then shuffled closer. Noah pulled me forcefully into his lap. I froze, his head on my shoulder, his breath hot against my skin. I tried to push him away, but he tightened his grip. He buried his face in my neck, his lips trailing warm paths over my skin. "Noah?" I stammered, panicking. He seemed dazed for a moment before biting down on my neck, sending sharp pain through me. Pinned down, I had no choice but to endure it. After what felt like forever, he let go, his expression calm again. "Regina," he said slowly, "if you tell anyone about this, you're dead." I was fuming, touching the bite mark on my neck. Noah acted like nothing happened. Before I left, he said he was applying to a university in Eastside City. The bite marks meant I had to wear a scarf to school, and I almost got caught by my mom. She had recently learned from his mom that Noah was applying to that school, so she kept pushing me to follow him. She even asked Noah for advice on college applications. Noah patiently explained everything to her. He's different around adults than he is with me. I guess he thinks I'm easy to bully. His mom also suggested it'd be smart to apply to the same school for extra support. His family owned a villa near the school. She mentioned Noah had already renovated it from afar 2 years ago. I could stay there too when I went. I always obediently agreed to whatever she said. As for where I'd go, it didn't matter to Noah. No need to reveal my thoughts. Time dragged on, but thankfully, Noah had been more chill emotionally this year. He didn't try to mess with me over every little thing. That gave me more time to prepare. After all the exams, my mom and I spent my 18th birthday in a tiny cubicle, a small cake and my mom's well wishes. The joy of finally being free to leave felt like a long-awaited release. That night, as usual, I brought Noah some fruit. His room was dim with faint music playing. As soon as I walked in, the door locked behind me. Noah was lounging against it, tall and carrying the energy of youth, full of life. I instinctively stepped back. He grabbed my wrist from behind and led me to the center of the room, cracking jokes and teasing me for being useless. That's when I saw the cake he'd prepared and the fancy dress he bought. "It's for you." I was lost for words. "Thanks, but I don't think I can wear this dress." "Keep it for later. There's a university ball when school starts. You'll need it then." I stayed quiet. The truth was, my score was 16 points lower than Hardy's. His mom said it wasn't a problem for me to get into Eastside City University. Mom was thrilled. That summer, I asked his mom for time off to do part-time work, and she didn't stop me. Hardy was in a good mood too, and didn't stop me either. I stopped tailing him. One day, while working, I ran into Hardy. He'd forgotten his phone at home. I bought him a coffee. He gave me an analysis of majors and job prospects at a city university. We sat outside the coffee shop. Then, Noah showed up, catching us in the act. His gaze was full of mockery, and his voice was icy as he told me to come over. My face burned. After thanking Hardy, I followed Noah out. On the way, Noah asked, "So you just want to get close to Hardy?" I explained, No, he forgot his wallet and it was too hot, so I bought him a coffee. Noah's face darkened. You think I'm an idiot? Would Hardy, with his smarts, forget his wallet when he goes out? I murmured, whether he has his wallet or not doesn't matter. I used my own cash to buy him the coffee. Noah's expression turned frosty as he questioned me. You've known me for 10 years and gave me a pen worth $60. You've only known Hardy for how long, and you bought him a coffee worth 20? I was speechless, my mind blank, trying to figure out how he knew the pen was 60 yuan. So awkward. I tried to change the subject. Anyway, it's just buying a coffee for a friend. What's the problem? Noah shifted slightly, eyebrows furrowing as he gave a quiet, mocking laugh. You calling Hardy your friend? I didn't answer. He wasn't really my friend after all. To him, we were just classmates. But I couldn't understand why Noah was so pissed. Unable to argue, I lowered my head and stayed silent. I leaned back in the seat, closed my eyes, and tried to let time pass. Noah, still angry, said, "Get out of the car. Now." It was already dark and I was nervous, but I was even more scared of making Noah angrier, so I quickly exited the car. Thankfully, it was only a 30-minute walk home. That night, Noah posted a pic on Insta, holding hands with someone. His friends immediately commented, "Oh, is this the campus hottie?" I remembered the campus beauty had always had a thing for Noah. They had graduated, so it wasn't surprising they were together. From that night on, Noah cut me off completely. Whether I asked him what he wanted to eat, told him where I'd placed his clothes, or offered to bring him fruit, he ignored me entirely. It was kind of peaceful, in a weird way. The day before the application deadline, Noah walked by my door but didn't say a word. Instead, my mom told me which major I needed to pick. Mom eagerly asked, "Did you hear that?" I nervously replied, "Yeah, I could hear him." How childish. I quietly switched my application to Metroville University. 20 days went by and Noah still hadn't spoken to me. I told my mom I wanted to go to school early and Noah overheard me as he came downstairs. That night, his friends set up a hangout, and some of them hit up the restaurant where I was working part-time. In the private room, I handed them the menu. His friends teased me, "Regina, if you don't make up with him, he's really gonna be with someone else." Can you even handle it? I glanced at the time. I still had to get back to my shift. I quietly apologized to Noah, though I didn't even know what I'd done wrong. I had apologized so many times over the years. The reason didn't matter anymore. I'd already forgotten. Now finally, I could leave. His friend smiled and nudged Noah. Anyway, Hardy is heading to a city university, so you won't see him again. Yeah, he's bound to marry for the family business. He's never going to be with Regina. Noah's expression softened a bit. He glanced at me, a small smile tugging at his lips. Forget it. Pack your bags and let's head to school tomorrow. I didn't ask Noah why he was going to school early too. I just obediently agreed. At home, I packed all of Noah's stuff. He was lying on the bed, complaining that I packed too much for him. I took everything out. He frowned. Same old. Don't bring so much. You can buy things when you get there. I nodded. Suddenly, Noah smirked. Where's my pants? You haven't packed them yet? It took me a moment to realize he meant his underwear. I never touched his personal items. Noah lazily replied, "You know, go pack them for me." I glanced at the time. I had to catch the bus, so I didn't want to waste any more time. I quickly went to pack his underwear, stuffing them into the suitcase with my fingers, my face a bit flushed. Noah was in a good mood, gaming with his friends. As soon as I stepped out, Noah lazily said, "Meet at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late." I replied absent-mindedly and shut the door. Later that night, I grabbed the packed suitcase and left. Noah had no clue I'd always planned to apply to a city university. I'd even bought my train ticket for tonight's trip there. Before bed, I asked my mom to bring the fruit to Aaron's room. As for work, Mom quit a few days ago after talking to his mom. She said she'd worked there for years and wanted to explore other cities with me. His mom didn't try to keep her, but asked her to finish this month. She also told my mom to keep it a secret and not tell Noah yet. We'd wait until Noah registered at university and everything settled. I boarded the train and messaged my mom. Then I hesitated, looking at Noah's phone number. Metroville was in the south and Central City was in the north. From now on, with one of us in the south and the other in the north, Noah and I probably wouldn't have any more connections. I thought about it and blocked him, deleting everything at once. Suddenly, my mind felt empty. Even the breeze felt sweet now, filled with freedom and longing. When I got off the bus, I noticed a huge temperature difference between the two cities. Some people had already put on thick jackets. I spent the day getting to know the school and nearby streets for the first time. I had a roommate I could actually talk to. On the third day after registration, I ran into Hardy on the street behind the school. He said he wanted to thank me for treating him to coffee last time, so today he was treating me to a meal. That day, Hardy, who never posts on Insta, surprisingly uploaded a pic of the dishes, and my bunny hairband was on my wrist in the corner of the photo. When Noah saw Hardy's Insta post, he had just finished registering at Metroville University. Unease settled in his chest, and he had to take deep breaths to calm down. He had planned to meet Regina on registration day, so he woke up early. But when he went downstairs, Regina wasn't there. Mandy stammered that Regina had something to do and went back home. Noah felt a sudden panic. Then he found out Regina had blocked his number. Noah laughed bitterly with anger. He walked to Regina's room, and everything there was completely cleared out. She left without a trace. There was a sense of urgency in her departure. Noah's hand, holding the suitcase, trembled. His worst fear was that Regina had secretly changed her college plans. Maybe she'd even gone to Metroville University, the one Hardy applied to. Suppressing his rage, Noah went upstairs to see if Regina had left a message. As expected, there was nothing. Noah rifled through his backpack for his ID, planning to find her. His mom came over, holding a bowl of fruit, and looked at him calmly. "It's too late. You should head to Metroville University for registration first." Noah snapped coldly. "So, you knew all along, and you and Regina kept it from me?" His mom shrugged. "I told Mandy to keep it from you, not Regina. Don't blame her." Noah's face went blank, his fingers tightening until his knuckles turned white. His mom sighed and was about to leave, but after a few steps, she paused and turned back. "Noah, I want you to live for yourself, but you also have to let others do the same. Regina isn't your property. She has the right to make her own choices. You've spent so much time together. Maybe some distance will help you both understand your hearts better." Noah's eyes reddened as he fought his anger. His chest was heaving. After a while, he took a deep breath. "You should have told me earlier. You shouldn't have kept it from me." His mom blinked innocently. "I'm really innocent here. If I had told you, you'd have stopped Regina from applying to Metroville University, and then you'd have caused a big scene. Either you'd follow her to the city, or you'd force her to come with you." Noah clenched his teeth and kicked over the sofa. His mom continued calmly. "In the end, someone would have really lost Regina." Noah closed his eyes slowly, his face draining of color. He didn't argue. His mom walked in and said, "Going to Metroville is your dream. As a mom, I don't want you to give it up for anyone, but Regina also has her own dreams. I think Mandy feels the same way." She glanced at the overturned sofa, her voice softening. "Okay, pack your things. Don't scare Mandy. You should go to Metroville University now." Noah's mind only registered the words, losing Regina and scaring Mandy. In the days that followed, Noah acted normal during the day but couldn't sleep at night. Mandy seemed to notice his unease and carefully observed his emotions, speaking cautiously. Noah responded politely and occasionally asked about Regina. Mandy seemed surprised by his sudden change, so she talked more than usual. Noah learned that Mandy was planning to rent a place near a city university with Regina, and they'd look for small business opportunities nearby. He also heard that Regina was happy, had a new roommate, and was busy exploring every street on campus. Basically, she wasn't upset or resistant. Noah quickly ate a few bites of food and returned to his room. He was scared he couldn't hold back any longer if he stayed. It turned out that, in Regina's heart, he wasn't important at all. He was as unnecessary as the family dog. Even the dog was reminded by Regina to feed it on time and water the plants in the yard. But there was no mention of him. Noah felt his chest was about to explode. He spent every day counting down the time in his room. Metroville University started 3 days later than Central City University. When Noah arrived in Metroville and settled in, their small group chat blew up. Someone had saved Hardy's Insta post. It was rare for him to post a meal pic, just ordinary dishes. But in the bottom right corner, a pale wrist was visible with Noah's familiar rabbit hairband on it. Everyone started speculating it was Hardy's girlfriend. Noah coldly typed a response in the chat. "It's not." The group fell silent instantly. With those two words, everyone immediately knew who the person in the photo was. The only person who could catch Noah's attention besides Regina was me. Soon, everyone knew that Regina and Hardy had gone to a city university. No one wanted to piss off Noah, so the group chat went back to normal. Noah saved the photo at the airport, zoomed in on the wrist and the rabbit hairband, and took a screenshot. It was the one he had bought with Regina at a jewelry store after graduation. They were going to eat, and Regina wanted to buy a hairband to tie her hair. Noah went in and bought the rabbit hairband for her. Seeing the hairband again slightly eased the anxiety that had been building up in Noah for nearly 2 weeks. After the meal, Hardy said he had just registered yesterday and wasn't familiar with the school layout yet. I walked him back to the male dormitory. On the way, Hardy told me about some famous sites in the city. I quietly listened. On the way back from dropping him off, I called my mom to share what's been going on lately. I had also checked out a few apartments nearby. Once she arrived, I planned to rent one and move out to live with her. My mom sounded upbeat, though she had some stuff to handle back home and would need to return for a bit. She couldn't come to the city for another month. Towards the end of our chat, my mom hesitated and brought up Noah. She said she was relieved. She thought Noah would be really angry when he found out I left without saying goodbye. But instead, he'd been quiet, staying in his room reading, prepping for university, and seemed to be looking forward to heading to Metroville. He'd asked her about the time, now and then. He occasionally mentioned me but didn't say much. I responded, feeling oddly empty inside. But after all these years, I'd finally made my own choice. I should be happy, right? I shook my head and thought about it. Maybe it was because I'd been with Noah for too long that I felt this way. But in time, I'd get over it. The most important thing now was to focus on my studies, to work hard and become better. That night, the wind outside the window picked up, and the temperature dipped a bit. After finishing my classes, I went back to the dorm and studied for a while. In the haze of concentration, I heard bursts of excitement from my roommates. "Oh my gosh, which department is that handsome guy downstairs from? So good looking. Wow, he's been standing there for a while. Must be waiting for his girlfriend. That's so sweet." Someone just asked for his number, and he politely declined. Ingrid, my closest roommate, grabbed my arm and dragged me to the window. "Regina, look, this is the standard your future boyfriend has to meet." I laughed and glanced downstairs. Under the dim streetlight opposite our dorm stood a tall, lean figure, surrounded by a few girls. He had his head slightly lowered, giving me a clear view of his perfectly chiseled side profile. His expression seemed calm, almost aloof. After a while, the others dispersed. Then he slowly looked up and met my gaze. When I recognized who it was, my heart skipped a beat and my knees felt weak. I gripped Ingrid's hand tightly. It was Noah. "What's he doing here? He was supposed to be in Metroville today for registration." Ingrid noticed my reaction and teased me with a grin. "Do you like him? Should I shamelessly go and get his number for you?" Before she could finish, Noah's cool, steady voice rang out from below. It wasn't loud, but it was clear from our second-floor window. "Regina, can you come down?" Ingrid grabbed me and started shaking me wildly. The next second, she shoved me toward the door. "Go, Regina, who knew you were hiding such a treasure? I'll ask for the details tomorrow." I was flustered. On my way downstairs, I deliberately left my coat behind, planning to go down and come back quickly. Noah seemed taller now. I did my best to hide my nerves and greeted him casually. "What brings you here? Visiting a friend?" Noah didn't answer right away. He stared at me deeply for a moment before speaking softly. "I'm hungry. Can you take me out for a meal?" Was he asking me? Noah used to make decisions for me like it was the most natural thing in the world. This felt different, oddly polite, even uncertain. It was like a boss who'd always been overbearing, suddenly becoming considerate. I didn't know how to say no. He traveled all this way just to ask me to take him out to eat. A meal wasn't a problem, but I'd already made dinner plans with Ingrid. "Sorry, I've already planned to eat with my roommate." Before I could finish, Ingrid appeared behind me, holding my coat and shoving it into my hands. She greeted Noah warmly. "Hi, I'm Ingrid, Regina's roommate." Noah responded politely, "Noah, I'm Regina's high school classmate." Ingrid shot me a mischievous smile. "I'm just here to tell you, I can't make it anymore. I've got a date tonight." "Sorry, babe." I nodded. Ingrid had been crushing on this guy for a long time. It was a big deal for her. After she left, I put on my coat and took Noah out onto the street. I mentally calculated how much I could afford to spend while renting a place, trying to figure out where to take Noah. He spotted a restaurant down the alley and walked right in. It wasn't until we were seated that I realized it was the same place I'd recently visited with Hardy. The prices were reasonable and the food was decent. Noah even chose the same private booth. During the meal, Noah barely ate, spending most of the time on his phone. I, on the other hand, made sure nothing went to waste and ended up overeating. Afterward, I asked him when he planned to head back. He set his phone down and spoke slowly. "Aren't you gonna ask why I came here? Just straight to when I'm leaving?" I muttered. "I already asked downstairs, but you didn't answer." Noah's gaze flickered. It was then I noticed he hadn't just grown taller. He looked thinner, and his complexion wasn't great. He looked unwell. Noah spoke softly. "I've got some business here." I nodded in acknowledgement. When we left the restaurant, Noah stood by the door, waiting for me to settle the bill. Unlike in high school, when he'd impatiently pay himself, this time he waited calmly. After paying $169 win, a splurge for me, I felt a strange sense of accomplishment. At least he wouldn't say anything rude or criticize me now, right? Relieved, I took a deep breath. As for where to go next, Noah didn't say. We ended up wandering the campus together, aimlessly strolling. Noah spent most of the time taking photos of the basketball court, tree-lined paths, the unique architecture, and me. When he raised his phone to snap a picture of me, I instinctively stepped back. "I'm not wearing makeup. It doesn't make much of a difference. You always look like this." I protested, "No way. Ingrid says I look better with makeup." Noah chuckled softly, a lazy, almost teasing laugh. "You've only been here a few days, and you've already started wearing makeup?" As we reached a bend in the tree-lined path, Noah suddenly wrapped his arms around my waist from behind. Caught off guard, I stumbled into his chest. I froze, my breath hitching. His presence was overpowering, warm, intense, and slightly dangerous. I tried to squirm away, but Noah held me tighter. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. I'd expected him to mock me, maybe insult me. But I never thought he'd hug me. His scent was subtle and pleasant. What was wrong with me, noticing how he smelled at a time like this? My voice trembled. "Noah, let go of me." Noah sounded weak. "No, my legs are going numb. Just hold on a little longer." "No way, let me go." Noah sighed, his voice low and tired. "Regina, I'm sick." I froze. "I haven't eaten properly in half a month. I can't sleep. I've had a fever. You should see a doctor in Metroville. The medical care there is excellent." Noah inhaled deeply and let out a bitter laugh. "You really don't care about me at all, do you?" I said nothing. My legs were genuinely giving out. When Noah finally released me, he grabbed my wrist and spun me around. In the next instant, his warm lips pressed against mine. I was stunned, frozen in place. His kiss grew fiercer as I tried to pull away. He caught the back of my neck, pulling me closer, kissing me even more deeply. Panicking, I shoved him away and slapped him. His head tilted from the impact, but he didn't seem to mind. His long, slender fingers brushed over his reddened lips. I felt my face burning. Words of anger stuck in my throat. Noah softly apologized. "Sorry." It was the first time Noah had ever sincerely apologized to me. Before, he'd always brushed things off with a casual laugh and a half-hearted, "My bad." I was exasperated. "If sorry worked, then—" He cut me off with a playful suggestion. "Then you could kiss me back as revenge?" I pressed my lips together, too angry to respond. I left him standing there and walked back toward the dorm. Behind me, Noah called out, "My flight's tomorrow night. Will you come see me off?" I didn't look back or answer. I couldn't sleep after returning to the dorm. The next morning, my lips still felt sore. Ingrid noticed my dazed expression and clung to me, asking about Noah. I briefly described those years taking care of him. He was my employer, and I was just a small-time worker. Ingrid gave me a sly look. "You don't actually think he sees you as just an assistant, do you?" "What do you mean?" "It's obvious he likes you." "Noah likes me? Impossible." His disdain for me was always written on his face. Last night, maybe he was just angry. I vaguely implied I might go to Metroville, which likely upset him. Seeing my disbelief, Ingrid hugged me. "Trust me, he likes you. Maybe his dismissiveness is just his way of caring. I felt exhausted. If this is his way of caring, I could do without it. After class, I opened Insta and saw Noah's post. He'd uploaded pics of the dishes we had last night with my bunny hair tie visible on the table. I hadn't noticed when he took the photo. I thought he'd been on his phone the entire time. The angle of the photo reminded me of a similar one Hardy had taken. Feeling unsettled, I closed my phone. Hardy passed by and greeted me. He asked if Noah was around and suggested we grab a meal together. I told him Noah was leaving tonight. Hardy nodded, but his gaze lingered on my lips. Embarrassed, I explained, I accidentally bumped into something last night. Hardy smiled faintly. I heard he's pretty busy with his studies. Didn't expect him to make time to visit. I just smiled without replying. That afternoon, I got a call from the landlord of the apartment I checked out earlier. The place was close to school and warmly furnished, but slightly over budget. The landlord offered to lower the rent if I agreed to a long-term lease. A long lease wasn't an issue, and the location would be convenient for my mom's business. After class, I signed the rental contract and called my mom to share the news. She said she'd move in at the end of the month. Time flew by. While waiting for her arrival, I stayed in the dorm and enjoyed the sense of community. Ingrid taught me how to do makeup and style my outfits. She had an impeccable sense of fashion and a tall, model-like figure. Spending time with her raised my aesthetic standards significantly. Occasionally, I'd dream about Noah's kiss, as if it were from another lifetime. At the end of the month, my mom moved in with a lot of stuff and mentioned a friend had recommended her for an administrative position at a company. I'm older now and slow at learning. Honestly, I feel embarrassed about applying, she said. I reassured her, promising to help her learn until she was confident. My mom had always insisted I save money from my part-time jobs. She'd covered my tuition herself. With those savings, I bought her a computer so she could practice at home. She worked even harder than me, often staying up late to practice typing under the warm glow of a small desk lamp. She even started planning to buy a small house near my workplace someday. Motivated, I picked up a part-time job, and we began saving for that goal together. Several months later, school was on break, and we planned to spend Christmas in Metroville. Hardy mentioned his family was traveling abroad and asked if he could join us for dinner. He'd visited occasionally this semester and was on friendly terms with my mom. However, she seemed hesitant about the idea. "You're a single young woman," she said. "It's already hard to explain when he visits occasionally. If he comes over for Christmas, the neighbors might think he's your boyfriend." I hadn't considered that, but outright rejecting Hardy felt a bit rude. He'd helped me a lot. While I was mulling it over, Ingrid called and suggested, "Tell him your boyfriend is coming. If he doesn't mind, he can join." Laughing, I replied, "Where am I supposed to find a boyfriend on such short notice? That handsome guy from last time. What's his name?" "Noah." "Yeah, Noah," I chuckled. "If Noah comes, the neighbors will misunderstand all the same." Before I could decide, Hardy messaged me saying he had an urgent family matter and couldn't make it. With mom at work, I spent the week lazing around and eating whatever was convenient. Around that time, Cydia was buzzing about the grand opening of a major corporation's branch. Celebrities and socialites attended the event, including an actress from my favorite drama. Ingrid, a huge fan, begged me to get her an autographed photo. Early that morning, I headed out, planning to shop before the signing event in the afternoon. The mall was packed, and amid the crowd, I spotted Noah. He stood at the center of the opening ceremony, looking far more mature than I remembered. Clad in a tailored black suit, he exuded calm authority, effortlessly navigating conversations after stepping off the stage. Noah had always been quick to adapt and learn. In just a few months, he'd already established his company. After the ceremony, he disappeared backstage. I grabbed lunch and attended the signing event. The actress was stunning and gracious, patiently adding Ingrid's name to the autograph. When I sent Ingrid a photo of it, she was ecstatic. On my way to the subway, I passed an alley and saw Noah standing by a luxury car, his head lowered. Sensing my gaze, he turned. For a moment, I wasn't sure whether to greet him or pretend I hadn't seen him. After the awkwardness of our last kiss and months of no contact, this was unexpected. Noah approached me and handed me something. It was an autographed photo from the actress, with my name on it, along with a cheerful message. "I saw you in line earlier and got this for you, but the one you got only had your friend's name," he said. "I had wanted one." But with the crowd, I didn't want to trouble her. Thank you, I said, taking it. He asked softly, I'm hungry. Can you take me to eat? What? Doesn't his company feed their CEO? I took him to a small restaurant near campus, known for its great food at reasonable prices. Noah ate heartily and seemed in good spirits. Casually, he said, these past months have been hectic. I hope to visit Metroville every week, but I've barely managed once a month. I kept eating without commenting. He's been coming to Metroville every month. Must have been for work. Then Noah lowered his voice. Regina, I want to apologize. For what? He met my eyes, his gaze somber. For everything that made you uncomfortable or upset in the past. I'm sorry. I set down my chopsticks, caught off guard by his sudden sincerity. Noah continued, his voice heavy with regret. I didn't know how to interact with you. My stubbornness and methods were wrong. I'm truly sorry, Regina. I recalled the past and understood that Noah didn't grow up in a typical family environment. His parents despised each other. Their marriage was more of a partnership. They wanted a divorce but couldn't go through with it, tangled in countless complicated ties. In elementary school, Noah got into fights because someone called him a wild child no one wanted. He was stubborn and volatile, doing things his own way. However, his mother was always lenient with him, rarely scolding him. Maybe it was her way of compensating for him, but she was often either working or traveling, leaving Noah with little time to see her, which gradually twisted his personality. When I stayed at Noah's house, I did enjoy a life far beyond what I originally had. And because he attended the best elementary school in the city, I benefited too. I could take care of his daily needs, but I didn't want to be his emotional punching bag. I spoke softly. Some harm once done can't be erased with an apology. Noah froze slightly, his narrow eyes turning a bit red. His Adam's apple bobbed as he said, quietly, I'm sorry. I stood up and looked at him. I accept your apology. Now go. Don't come back again. Noah suddenly stood up, blocking my path. And staring straight at me, I instinctively stepped back in fear. Noah's outstretched hand froze in midair. After a while, his expression calmed, but his eyes gradually turned misty, his face pale, and his voice carried a trace of pleading. Can we start over? As he spoke, he reached out nervously. Hi, I'm Noah. Before I could respond, the waiter interrupted us, asking if we were done eating and if they could clear the table. I bypassed Noah's hand and walked out. At the counter, I noticed the bill was 328 won. Had I really ordered so much without realizing it? I didn't look back and walked straight home. That night, I inexplicably fell ill with a fever. Mom, whose company had recently relocated, bought me medicine. The labels, though scribbled, clearly indicated the dosage and frequency. I never saw Noah again. Life seemed to gradually return to normal. Meanwhile, Noah's business grew way bigger than I'd imagined, and I often saw news about him online. But I didn't pay much attention, focusing instead on myself, studying, working part-time, and planning for life after graduation. In the second semester of my sophomore year, Hardy announced he was going abroad, as arranged by his family. Before he left, we had dinner with Ingrid. As he got into the car, Hardy suddenly laughed. Regina, some people are real lunatics. I didn't understand and thought I misheard him. Hardy just brushed it off, told me to take care, and drove away. Comfortable days always fly by. As the seasons changed, both Mom and I grew in many ways. By the start of my senior year, Mom had been promoted to manager. Though not a high position, it was the first time she felt truly recognized by her colleagues. We decided to celebrate big time. During the celebration, Mom asked about my plans after graduation. I planned to stay in Metroville. A boss I met during my part-time job referred me to a local HR position at a big company. Hearing this, Mom smiled. That's great. After all these years, I've grown used to Metroville with you here. Metroville feels like home. After saying this, Mom hesitated for a moment before asking, What about Noah? I replied nonchalantly, We haven't been in touch for a long time. Noah wasn't all bad. He just lacked guidance, and his life is so different from ours. But deep down, he's kind. That stray dog was something he picked up, you know. He kept complaining, but still told me to take care of it. I didn't respond. Mom then told me that after I enrolled in Metroville, she had once talked to Noah, not fully understanding young people's relationships, but sensing Noah's unusual feelings for me and my unease. She'd taken on the role of an elder for the first time to tell Noah that we weren't a good match. Our families, personalities, and lives were too different. She asked him not to come to Cydia so I could focus on my studies. Mom recalled how silent Noah had been that day, so silent that she thought he hadn't heard her. After a long pause, Noah politely replied, "I understand. Thank you for your efforts all these years." Then, as Mom left with her bags, Noah insisted his driver take her home and even bought gifts for my grandparents. I chuckled. Well, at least he's polite. Mom looked at me and shook her head, saying nothing more. In the second month of my senior year, Noah's close friend Jeff came to Metroville. He even visited the back street near my school and texted me, asking which place had the best food. Since I wasn't busy, I took him out. Jeff was eager to try Noah's favorite dish, which he'd been eating for years without fail. I froze. Though our school wasn't far from Noah's company, most working people would choose to eat closer to their office. While eating, Jeff sighed, "So you're really not talking to Noah anymore, huh? In high school, we were so immature, always teasing you." "I'm sorry," I smiled. "It's fine. It's all in the past. I'm doing well now." Jeff seemed annoyed. "If you can let go of us, why can't you forgive Noah?" I was stunned. He kept rambling. "At least don't ignore him. Even being regular friends would be fine. You have no idea how much Noah sacrificed to open his company in Metroville. He even fell out with his dad and didn't speak to him for half a year. The company was supposed to be in another city, but Noah insisted on Metroville. To build connections, he attended countless business events and did everything he could. He even went head-to-head with Hardy's family for a project, only to give it back so Hardy could study abroad. I was taken aback. "Are you saying Hardy going abroad had something to do with Noah?" Jeff got flustered. "That's not Noah's fault. Hardy isn't exactly innocent. He knew Noah planned to go to University B and even renovated a villa near the school for you. Yet he still encouraged you to come to Metroville. You remember how people gossiped about you after Hardy gave you his school uniform, right? You think he didn't know what that would do to your reputation? But he did it anyway. In the end, Noah went around beating up anyone who whistled or gossiped about you to stop it." I suddenly remembered that night when Noah came home with blood on his hands. I fell silent. Jeff sighed. "Noah's only flaw is that he doesn't know how to express himself. Let me be honest with you. The photo Noah posted on IG with interlocked fingers, it wasn't with the school beauty. It was with you." On the way back, I felt dazed. The only time Noah and I had been alone, and he could have secretly taken a picture, was when he got angry about Hardy lending me his uniform, made me do endless tasks, and I ended up falling asleep on the sofa in his room. He's insane. I felt both angry and exhausted. Not only did my head hurt, but I was completely drained. When I got downstairs, I saw Mom stepping out of Noah's car. Noah, holding some bags, was about to go upstairs. When he saw me, he said goodbye to Mom and left. After Mom came home, she seemed a bit guilty. She quietly told me that it was Noah who suggested she start as a secretary, saying running her own business would be too exhausting. But it wasn't Noah who arranged the job. It was the lady who recommended it to her. Seeing me frown, Mom quickly added, "I earned this promotion through my own hard work. It has nothing to do with him. And today, I really just ran into him by chance. He gave me a ride because I had too many things to carry." I sighed. I knew about the job situation. I had seen how much Mom had sacrificed for this job, but still, Noah really did keep quite a lot from me. I didn't want to think about it anymore. Mom tugged at my sleeve. "Regina, I'm not defending Noah, but I've seen how much he's changed in the past few years. Of course, I can't interfere with your young people's matters, but as a mother, I just want you to be healthy and happy." I smiled and hugged her. Half a month later, I got a call from Jeff saying Noah was sick and asking if I could go check on him. I didn't know why, but I agreed. When I arrived at Noah's apartment, Jeff opened the door and left right away. Noah was sitting in his study wearing a shirt, attending one video conference after another. He was coughing intermittently, looking pretty rough. I waited for nearly 2 hours before Noah finally walked out of the study, looking weary. When he saw me and realized Jeff wasn't around, he quickly understood. Noah's voice was hoarse. "How long have you been here?" I replied softly, 2 hours. He seemed a bit surprised. 2 hours? I got straight to the point. If you're sick, you should rest. Go to the hospital. Your health is the most important. He barely managed to smile, looking exhausted. There's just too much to do. Everything piled up together. I'm hungry. Do you want to eat together? I said later, let's go to the hospital first. I stood up waiting for him to change, and he slowly walked toward me, then reached out and pulled me into his arms. I didn't move, and he hugged me even tighter. His voice cracked, and warm tears slid down my neck. I'm really hungry. I hesitated, then awkwardly patted his back. All right, let's eat first, then I'll take you to the hospital. After we came back from the hospital, Noah fell asleep holding my hand in the car. His sleeping profile looked especially innocent and beautiful, with his long black lashes fluttering slightly, as if his sleep wasn't very peaceful. The driver mentioned that Noah hadn't had a good rest in a long time, suffering from insomnia and work stress, and he'd been taking meds for it. But it didn't seem to be helping much. I gently reached out and touched his head. He closed his eyes and nuzzled my hand. After that day, we never brought up the past again. Before he left for work in the morning, he was still anxious. He asked if I could have lunch with him after class. I suddenly smiled, feeling at ease, and stretched out my hand to Noah. Let's start over. I'm Regina. Noah looked at me, momentarily stunned, then took my hand. I'm Noah. The first thing I did when I got back to school was sign up for a membership at Noah's favorite restaurant. I thought, we'll probably come here often in the future. With Noah, with Mom, or maybe together.